Hi guys, this is Vysh from Vysh IAS and we are going to continue the Geography NCERT class 6th. So chapter 1 and 2 we have uploaded already one video. Now the second video, chapter 3 and 4. Okay. So we'll go by the NCERT PDF itself, which I have downloaded from the NCERT website. So chapter 3 and 4 are actually very small chapters, simple chapters. Motion of the earth, okay, about the rotation, revolution and all. So here it's mentioned, as you know, the earth has two types of motions, namely rotation and revolution. Rotation is the movement of the earth on its axis. Sorry. So axis, already in the last chapter we saw, like axis is something which is a tilted line, imaginary line, which passes through the earth's shape, the spherical shape. The imaginary line which is going from north pole to south pole, which is tilted, which is not flat. I'll show you the pictures. That is actually the axis. So when the earth is rotating around that same thing, that axis, that is called the rotation movement. Okay, and the earth as a whole moving around the sun is called revolution. Okay, around the sun is revolution and around the axis is rotation. Okay, the axis of the earth, which is an imaginary line, makes an angle of 66.5 degree with its orbital plane. I'll show you the pictures, it will be more clear. Okay. So if you see this picture, this is the plane of the earth, the horizontal line you see, and this is the vertical line, this dotted line, and this not dotted line or the dark line which you see, north pole to south pole, is the axis. So this axis makes 66.5 degree with the orbital surface. This flat surface is orbital surface. Okay, and this is the vertical line. So between this will be obviously 23.5, because totally this has to make a 90 degree angle. So 23.5 and 66.5. So you should know which angle is made where. Okay, the axis is making 66.5 degree with the orbital surface. So that is the meaning of that line. Now the earth receives light from the sun. Due to the spherical shape of the earth, only half of it gets light from the sun at a time. So this second picture, if you see, because it is like this, the shape is like this, this side will not receive sunlight. Okay, meaning everything will not receive together, only one particular half will be getting. Okay, so that is the illumination property of the sun. Okay, circle of illumination it is called. If you see in the picture also, it's mentioned circle of illumination. This particular half is where sunlight is received. The earth takes about 24 hours to complete one rotation. That is why we have one day, 24 hours. That is, earth is rotating on its axis in 24 hours, and that is called one earth day. Okay, so it is a common term which is used for understanding the different duration of other planets also. Earth day means this 24 hours thing. Okay, so this is the daily motion of the earth. What would happen if earth did not rotate? Okay, the portion of the earth facing the sun would always experience day. Okay, because suppose it's not at all rotating, how we saw in the picture previously, only one half will be always getting. Only if it rotates fully, every part of the earth will get the illumination. Okay, so other half would remain in darkness. That is the, and freezing. So life will not be possible. That is what will happen if rotation is not there. Now second motion is the revolution. Okay, where if you see the center, this is the sun, this is the earth, and this is across different seasons, this thing is happening. Okay, so one thing you have to remember is day and night is happening because of rotation of the earth, but seasons is happening because of the revolution of the earth. UPSC has already asked this as a statement, so please know that day and night is by rotation, seasons is by revolution. So seasons, why? Because if you see here, like suppose December now, if you take, the shape is in such a way that this light blue and dark blue, if you see the difference in color, sun is illuminating only this half. Okay, and this is tilted. So the southern hemisphere is getting more light now. Okay, because if you see the center, this line is the equator. So southern hemisphere is getting more light. So summer in the southern hemisphere, and that is called winter solstice. Solstice. Okay, winter in the northern hemisphere. When the north is having winter and south is having summer, and this is the position of the earth with respect to sun. This is called winter solstice, and the date is 22nd December. Okay, when this is at its peak, you can call. Okay, longer night it will be, and just opposite to it here, if you see, this is like the northern hemisphere is getting more sunlight and summer will be there, and winter it will be southern hemisphere. Okay, so this is called summer solstice. So everything is named based on the northern hemisphere. If northern hemisphere is having summer, it is summer solstice. If northern hemisphere is having winter, it is called winter solstice. So these two, there will be difference in day and night timing and difference in climate also. Here it is, I mean season also. This is summer, here it is winter. But these two, if you see, Here if you see, it's fully light blue. Okay, so full area is getting same amount of light. Okay, that means equator, directly on the equator sunlight is happening. Okay, here if you see, it is in the Tropic of Capricorn, or below the equator you can say. Here it is above the equator. Okay, think with respect to India, you will be easily able to relate. Okay, India, June time it will be like summer and before the monsoon time. December it will be the winter, but in this time, that is the spring autumn time, you can call. Okay, here also if you see, this side which is facing the sun has full illumination. In this picture if you see, what side we see is darker blue. The other side which we cannot see in the picture, where sun is like illuminating, will be having that autumn season. Okay, so autumn and spring in the other side, if you see the picture correctly. Okay, and this is called equinox also. Equinox means equal days and equal night. Okay, it's not like the summer or the winter solstice. It will be having equal days and equal nights. So hope you understood at least the difference between all these four positions. Okay, the namings, the dates, if you see 21st March, 21st June, 23rd September, 22nd December. The dates also, the difference also, and the tilting also differs. So Tropic of Capricorn, Tropic of Cancer, and directly equator. These kind of things you should remember, okay, when you hear these terms. 6 hours is saved every day. Actually, that is a concept like the earth actually takes 365 days plus 1/4 day, that is 6 hours. 365 days and 6 hours to complete a revolution. But for our convenience, for calendar and calculation, we actually skip it. We don't use it. But we have to compensate it some time, right? So after 4 years, what we do is we use all that 1/4 4 times and make it as 1 day, and that is how the 366 day concept or the leap year concept will come. We are using that skipped off 1/4 day over a span of 4 years, 6 hours, that is 1/4 of 24, and we will make it as a addition day in February in the 4th year. So that is why leap year concept is there. Okay, you have to tell me in comments which is the next leap year. It's a very silly question. It's for a 6th standard textbook obviously, so don't bother it. Then the earth is going around the sun in elliptical orbit. Okay, we have seen in the last chapter also, elongated elliptical orbit it will be, like we saw in the picture. It's not a perfect circle or square or something, oval or something. It is an elongated elliptical orbit. Okay, again explaining the same thing what we saw in that picture. 21st June, northern hemisphere tilted towards the sun. The rays of the sun falls directly on the Tropic of Cancer. Okay, this is for 21st June, that is the summer solstice you can call. This whole paragraph is about that. Okay, as a result, these areas receive more heat. The areas near the poles receive less heat as the rays of the sun are slanting. The north pole is inclined towards the sun, and the places beyond the Arctic Circle experience continuous daylight for about 6 months. Okay, so these kind of statements, if want, UPSC can frame, but if you know that picture clearly, you can answer any of this. Okay, since a large portion of the northern hemisphere is getting light from the sun, it is summer in the regions north of the equator, like in India. The longest day and the shortest night at these places occur on 21st June. Okay, so that is how these dates are selected. The longest day in summer solstice happen in 21st June. Okay, similarly in winter solstice you will see the longest night will be that 22nd December or something, which we saw in the picture. Okay, here 22nd December, Tropic of Capricorn will be receiving more. South pole will be having summer, I mean the southern hemisphere itself, and here sun's rays fall directly on the Tropic of Capricorn, 23.5 degrees south. Now whatever is opposite of that, the same thing happens here. So here the reverse will happen, winter solstice. So actually if you see, in Australia the Christmas is celebrated in summer season because it's in the southern hemisphere. Based on that picture, if you see, that will be having sunlight during that time only. Okay, when we are having winter, they are having summer. Okay, so usually Christmas we have this image in our minds like the snow or that winter concept of America or UK. That is what we have in mind, but you should know, like in Australia it is summer season that time. Okay, not the winter season. 21st March and 23rd September, the central images in that picture, it is like sun directly falls on the equator. Okay, equal days and equal night, and it is called equinox. Okay, this is the concept. Hope it's clear now. Autumn season, spring season, again I showed you in that picture. So that's all. This chapter has nothing, just rotation, revolution. Okay, simple questions will be there. The movement of the earth around the sun is known as movement of the earth around the sun. It is revolution. Okay, direct rays of the sun falls on the equator. Equator, it will fall during the equinox. Okay, so that will be 21st March and 22nd September, I think. June and December it will be the other one, winter solstice and summer solstice, where it is falling on the Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn. Christmas is celebrated in summer in Australia. Okay, so kind of mapping exercise. Japan and India are in the northern hemisphere, northeast hemisphere you can call, but Australia is in the southeast hemisphere. Cycle of the seasons is caused due to revolution. Okay, if they ask like day and night, it will be rotation. Okay, so this UPSC has asked actually, even though it's a very simple question, UPSC has asked it as one of the statement. Okay, so that's all chapter 3. We'll go for chapter 4. I think that's again a very silly chapter you can call it. I think maps. Yeah, it's maps. This is the compass, the image you see. So just telling what a political map is, what physical map is, that kind of thing. Okay. So in previous chapter, globe we saw, latitude we saw, longitude we saw, how to mark a particular place in a globe, or how the timeline is decided, Greenwich Meridian time, all those things we saw. But suppose in like a very small city like Mukherjee Nagar, Rajendra Nagar in Delhi, if you want to see, a globe won't be sufficient. You need a paper or pictorial representation. Okay, that is actually when map comes into picture. Okay, map is actually the representation or the drawing of the earth surface on a flat surface. Okay, according to a scale. So scale is always there for a map. Okay, but you know you cannot do that round shape in a map. So that is why we have that flat map which we always see, the world map if you see, which we use for our preparation also, because UPSC always asks questions from map also. You should know like which straits or which lakes, which oceans, which seas are there from west to east or north to south. That is how UPSC asks questions. Okay, even there are many important areas also. Maps, when we do later mapping, we'll see like the Middle East is very important. The region around Israel, Syria is very important. South China Sea is important. Then you can say like the seas, the Black Sea, Caspian Sea, then the straits of Gibraltar or Malacca Strait. These kind of things are repeatedly asked by UPSC. So you should have a clear idea of the world map, like how it is ordered or how it is aligned from left to right, or you can call west to east. Okay, the Greenwich Meridian time, what is there on the west, what is there on the east, the different countries. Not like you have to know each and every country by heart, but you should at least learn few things so that everything automatically gets registered in your mind. Like if you learn the 10 countries which passes through the equator, you will know what is above that, what is below that. Okay, it will be a relative learning. Same way Tropic of Cancer countries, Tropic of Capricorn countries, then the Indian Ocean countries which are all there in the Indian Ocean, El Nino affects which all countries, deserts are located on the western side of the continents. These kind of facts when you learn, obviously country names, place names and island names and all will be registered in your mind. Okay, or military bases, Diego Garcia is there in the Indian Ocean, or Djibouti is there in Africa. These are all military bases of different countries. So when you learn a topic, try to see it in the map also. I am telling all these things because that is what you need to learn, not the 6th standard map thing which you are telling. Okay, this chapter has nothing much which we need for UPSC, but I am just telling the important things you need to learn in the relation with mapping. So basically 3 types of mapping are there. Physical map, political map, obviously all of you will know. Physical map has these basic things, mountains, plateaus, all the geographical features. That is physical map. Political map is the one which we see like Indian country or any continent with their countries and states aligned. That is the political map, where we see the boundaries of the places. Thematic maps is something maybe you don't know, you have not heard. It is like focus on the specific information such as road maps, rainfall maps, and all these things. When you are going a little more deeper or a little more zoomed in into the different places, you have to show different things, right? That is called the thematic maps. Okay, so 3 components of maps: distance, direction and symbol. So, okay, same like when you use the Uber app or something, when you are traveling or you use the Google map, you will have the distance like from place to place, you will have the location, direction will be there, and also symbols will be there. If you zoom in too much, the buildings will have one symbol, the bridges will have different symbol, post office will have different symbol. So these are 3 important components of maps. So distance, I don't think we need much explanation for this. Only thing, scale you need to know, scale is required. Okay, it will be like you cannot show this 10 kilometers of land or road in a small paper. You have to need the scale. Okay, I think below we have explanation. Small scale map and large scale map. Small scale map is something like the big continents, we are showing it in paper. Like in 5 centimeter, you will show 500 kilometers and all, or 5,000 kilometers. So that is small scale map. Okay, we are showing big regions with a small scale. The other one, when you zoom in like villages and all, where maybe 500 meters can be shown in 5 centimeter, that way if you do, that is large scale map. So you should know the difference between large scale map and small scale map. Direction, again I showed you, like I'll show you a map. Usually maps will be like this, thematic map or a local regionalized map. If you see right side, if you see on top, north is like, north direction will be always shown. In compass also, north is always marked because that is a reference. Okay, we know we have 4 directions, so north will be one reference. With that you can find out all the other three directions. So this is like a map with a scale. If you see bottom, if you see 1 centimeter equal 10 meters. So suppose the paper from this left to right here, if it is like suppose 15 centimeter, this is a 15 centimeter scale, suppose 15 into 10, so this will be 150 meters. Okay, so this will be 150 meters. So that is how scale is used in a map, so that you don't need to draw the entire big length in paper. These are directions and compass, and one terminology, cardinal points. These northwest, east, south, with all these 8 points, this is called as cardinal points in geography. Okay, so when you hear cardinal points, you should know it is referring to these 8 directions. Again explaining that map with different things. Symbols, it is the third important component of the map. Like I told you, they will represent railway lines with something, roads with something. So this picture is enough, no need to read any text. Okay, roads, metalled, unmetalled, boundary, international, district, state. Nothing need to be learnt here, just things you know only, but how NCERT explains to 6th standard students is like this. Okay, various colors are also used, like blue for water, brown for mountain, yellow for plateau. These are like sometimes followed in standard. In international maps it's always used in standard, but in local maps maybe they don't use the or follow the standards. Okay, again a thematic map with the color what to say, representation. Sketch and plan are 2 things again mentioned. It is actually not a map, but it is something to represent a map also. Like you are trying to show a map, but not a proper formal map. Like suppose your friend's house, you want to show it to your friend like where your house is. Okay, you will take a paper and pen and you will simply draw like, okay, take left, take right. You will show a map, right? That is called sketch. Okay, where there is no scale. Okay, drawn without a scale. That's one point. Drawn without a scale is called sketch map. That's all. Plan is something where it will be definitely having a scale. Okay, like suppose a house plan or something you are drawing. You are drawing the street, the house, everything, the length, the breadth, and it will be too much detailed. Okay, that is called plan. A large scale map gives lot of information. Large scale map we saw like when we zoom into the villages or something and all, 5 centimeter, 500 meter, that concept. Okay, so sketch and plan. That's all there in this chapter. Questions will be there simply for our sake of doing it. Map showing distribution of forest. Forest will be thematic map. Okay, blue color is used for water bodies. Compass is used for, compass you should say main direction. Okay, symbols, distance and all, it will be like map, but for compass it's like the main direction. The north will be always pointing in the compass. A scale is necessary for a map. For a sketch we don't need, but for a plan we need, but plan is not there in options. Okay, so this is all for chapter 4. So we are done with chapter 3 and chapter 4. So I will come up with chapter 5 soon. Till then, thank you and have a nice day.